everyone and welcome back to Just Nancy. It's back to school season and this year is the first year that I'm not going to be going back to school, but I still wanted to play my part. And if you don't already know, I just came out of sixth form. I wanted to give some tips to the newbies who are going into sixth form. They'll be going in this week, what to expect over the next 2 years. Hopefully you find it entertaining and helpful. My notebook here with all my notes that I wrote down because I don't want to forget what to say. So I'm going to be speaking about 5 important key things about sixth form: the change from GCSE to sixth form, friendships and relationships, free periods, dress code, maximising your productivity without burning out, finding that balance kind of thing. So in terms of the step up from GCSE to sixth form, for me it was quite a big step up. I didn't do A-levels, I did the IB. In A-levels you do 3 or 4 topics, they're very content rich. In IB you do 6 subjects and they're not as content rich as A-levels, but they're more content rich than GCSEs are. You are doing fewer subjects, but they are a lot more content rich. It's not so difficult that it's impossible, but it's definitely a step up from GCSE, and some GCSE knowledge is involved, particularly in the sciences. I did biology. You still do things like respiration, photosynthesis, but there's so much more explained and so much more enriched. You do get more homework in terms of you get coursework. Yeah, there's a lot more homework, but you get a lot more time to do it. It's not like little, like, do this worksheet or whatever. It's like big projects. Social life is also very different between GCSE and sixth form. I found that at GCSE everyone was really cliquey, everyone has their groups and no one really intermingles between groups. When you hit sixth form, I think it changes so much, like the dynamic changes so much, because everyone's suddenly shoved into the same boat, everyone's under the same stress levels, your classes mix up so much more, and I don't know, I feel like although there are cliques and, you know, like at lunchtime you all hang out in your little groups, I think it's so much easier to intermingle between those groups and like find those people that you're in subject with and go, I didn't get this, do you get this, do you have notes on this? Everyone just kind of cares less, I found. Friendships can be really tricky sometimes in sixth form, especially if you're new. I wasn't new in my sixth form, but there were a lot of people that were coming in from other schools. Biggest advice to you when it comes to friendships would be find a small group of people and stick with them. Find people with as little drama as possible, because petty drama is just the last thing that you want on your list. I had the greatest group of friends that got me through sixth form and honestly had my back the whole time through sixth form. It will save your life to have that little tiny group of, not necessarily tiny, but just, you don't need to be popular, you don't need to be best friends with everybody. Speak to everyone and get information off everybody, but you don't need a massive group. As well as that little group, try to find one person at the very least who you can be closer with in every single one of your classes, so that the minute you're off sick, you have an appointment, you miss that class, you can text them, you can go straight over to them, you can go, I missed this lesson, can I please have the notes? Because the minute you don't have notes and the minute you fall behind, you're done. You spend the rest of your time catching up because you're one lesson behind every single time. It might be someone in your friendship group. I had a girl in my friendship group who was also in my philosophy class. I had a girl in my friendship group who was also in my biology class. Like, you find that you're in a lot of classes with the same people, especially when you're going through the exam stress. You don't want to isolate yourself. If you have this group of people and you all have each other's backs, it's so good. Like, study together or go, I don't get this, can you explain this? No, that's something I really miss. Like, we used to have a designated spot where we sat, and it's so nice to be in sixth form and have a nice group of friends, and you will really benefit from it. Not everybody's gonna like you no matter what you do, regardless of how you act or what you do or what you say to people. There are just gonna be some people who don't like you, and that's okay, but don't let it get to you. If someone doesn't like you, just move on with it. Just be yourself and the right people will surround you. On the flip side, when talking about friendships, comes relationships. This is a little bit of a sticky topic because people have different opinions on it, and I personally was in a relationship when I was in sixth form and it was great. Like, being in a relationship is nice, but it can put a lot of strain on your productivity levels and your life in sixth form in general. The most important thing when it comes to sixth form is mental state. If you're not in a good mental state, it's going to be hard. Like, if you put yourself in situations that decrease your mental state, you need to take yourself out of them. Sometimes being in a relationship can put you in a bad mental state without you even realising it. And like, think about if you're having an argument the night before. If you had an argument with your significant other the night before a big test, you're not going to do well on that big test, and it's going to put you behind. I don't want to put people off being in a relationship, because I had a great time being in a relationship in sixth form. It was really nice. It's nice to have someone to go to at lunchtime and hang out with, and just that, like, that special person. It can also put a strain on your school life, so I just say tread warily if getting into a relationship, if that makes sense. I feel like the sixth form is the time when you kind of want to be getting into a relationship, because you're 17, you're 18, you're getting to that more mature scale and moving towards being an adult, and sometimes they work. And I have friends who got into a relationship when they were in year 11 and they're still together now. Like, that's great, but sometimes they just don't work out, and it can put such a strain on exams. Use your free periods for the love of God. If you take one thing away from this video, it's use your free periods. You get your timetable in the beginning of year 12 and you think, oh, sick, free periods. I don't have to do any work, don't have to go to lessons, cool. The worst mistake you can make is not doing anything in your free periods. I didn't use my free periods in first year of sixth form in year 12, and I regretted it. It just means that you have more work to do when you get home. Free periods are a blessing. At a time when you can catch up on stuff that you don't understand, but at your own pace, at your own structure, you can set the tone. First period on a Monday, higher biology, and go, what? I didn't understand a word. Have the notes, go back over it and kind of structure it in a way that makes you understand, or speak to a friend who you're sharing a free period with and consolidate that information in a way that you'll remember when you review it during your revision time. Some sixth form content, especially sciences, I always found that the science content was the hardest, or maths. I dropped maths, so I didn't really have experience in the maths content, but I know loads of my friends struggled so much with their maths. It is difficult. Sometimes it takes going back over stuff on your own terms with other people or by yourself, or, you know, there are loads of great websites out there that can help you consolidate that information and simplify it until you get it. Because honestly, I made this mistake. I made the mistake of going, I don't get this, but it's fine, I'll try and reteach it to myself in the last 6 months before my exams, and it didn't work. It really, really screwed me up, because it slowed me down, and it meant that I had to take the time to just learn it and learn it. Even ask your teacher. Teachers have free periods as well. You and the teacher that's teaching you a topic you're struggling in have a free period at the same time. Go and speak to them, because sometimes they can break it down in a simpler way, or change the wording, or even share a PowerPoint with you. Just use those free periods. I can't say it in any other way than just use them. Like, obviously take breaks, and that's what the free periods are for. Free periods mean that you don't have just work. Oh, Rihanna, work. You can take those breaks and you can chill and you can let information sink in, but there are times that you need to be utilising, because they actually, you will regret not using them. Dress code. Basically, we were allowed to wear whatever we wanted. That can be stressful. The thought of that can be like, oh my god, how am I going to think of an outfit every single day? Honestly, nobody cares. Like, you think they do, but they don't. Like, not one single person cares. Not once did I ever look at someone and go, they're wearing the same top twice in a week. Like, not once did I ever do that. First 2 weeks, people will wear like the most, I say people, I mean girls, the most put together, Pinterest inspired, perfectly crafted outfits that have taken them all summer to put together. Those 2 weeks end, nobody cares. It'll be comfort, it will start getting cold, people will just wear hoodies and jeans every single day. I promise you, not a single person cares. I work at Next, right? And I've had mums and daughters and sons come in going, oh my god, I don't know what to buy for sixth form, I don't know what to wear. And every time I tell them, nobody cares. Like, just be comfortable, make sure you're following the dress code, and you'll be fine. If you are allowed to wear whatever you want, like I am, I would buy basics. Just get some basic pieces that you can style a bazillion different ways, for the cold weather, for the hot weather. basic shoes, basic tops, basic jeans and skirts, and just rewear those in different ways. It's so easy to look put together without putting stress into your outfits. If you're stressing more about what you're wearing to school than your workload, you're doing it wrong. Basics will save your life. You don't need any fancy outfits for school, trust me. This is a video that I made specifically to style basic pieces for people who need help with back to school outfits. So if you want to check that out, I'll link that in the description for you to have a look at. If your school is business wear, that's actually easier. Just buy a few pinnacle dresses or skirts or trouser suits or whatever you're into, whatever you feel the most comfortable in, and just wear that. And if you want to spice it up, jewellery, hairstyles, shoes, rules on like jewellery and nails and how you wear your hair and your shoes is more lenient than it was when you were in year 11, so you do still have the opportunity to spice it up and make it interesting. This last topic is probably the most important one, the longest one, but it's the one that I was most eager to speak about, because productivity is so hard to get right. I think the first thing to remember when it comes to productivity is that you're not a robot, and that you're not going to be productive 24/7, and not one single person, not any of your peers, none of your friends, even your teachers are going to be productive 24/7. And I think that productivity culture is actually so toxic. Like the videos you see on TikTok of people being like, oh, how I say productive, it can be so toxic because it can make you think that people are doing all this work all the time. And like, I've seen like study with me videos of people who are doing like 8 hours a day of revision, and it's just not, first of all, it's not accurate and it's not good for you. You might do 8 hours of revision in one day, but the next day you're not going to do the same 8 hours because you will just burn out. Like, you can look at some people's videos on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube and think that you are inferior because you're not as productive as these videos suggest that those people are, and it's just not true. Romanticize everything. Like, it sounds so stupid, but it actually helps. Romanticizing studying, you can act like you're Rory Gilmore, you can act like you're Spencer Hastings, you can make a playlist, you can do all of these things that make the idea of studying fun. If you go on TikTok and type romanticizing school, a bajillion videos will come up. Coming out of sixth form and kind of reviewing on my time in sixth form has taught me that sometimes sixth form isn't always about what you know and the learning that you do, it's how you do it and how you retain it and how you know stuff. The methods you use and actively deciding and knowing the methods that help you the most in learning will help you so much. It will save your life. When it comes to revision, when it comes to homework, when it comes to coursework, when it comes to just classes, how you know stuff and how you learn it will help you so much. It sounds silly to start revising at the beginning of year 12 because you know that your exams aren't for another 2 years, but trust me, the sooner you start consolidating that information, creating flashcards, creating whatever helps you, the second you start doing it as early as possible, beginning of year 12, as soon as you finish topics, it will be so much easier for you. The minute you finish a science topic, go back over all your notes, make flashcards, put them away for when you come back to review them, and review it little and often. You will burn yourself out trying to relearn everything at the end of year 13. Things that you use and the systems that you create are the two key factors to productivity. I had a laptop that I used the entirety of sixth form, and it had all my notes on it, Google Docs, saved your work automatically so you don't have to worry about not clicking save. You can organise everything into Google Drive and like little folders and sections and topics and everything. Stick to one thing. If you start writing notes on paper, either stick with writing notes on paper and make sure you have binders and things that you can organise every single one of your notes, or you want to make the transfer to a laptop to take notes, make sure you transfer all of the notes that you've made on paper into computer note form. This one sounds silly and it kind of links in with the romanticizing aspect, but buy stationery that excites you to learn, like cute pens, pencils, highlighters, anything that gets you excited to like open your bag and write stuff down or take notes. The minute you're excited to use something, you want to use it and then you want to learn. Going along with the stationery, map your life in front of you. Everything. Planners, to-do lists, calendars, notebooks, everything written out. I'm such a visual learner. I need to see things to know what's going on. And it's all here. You're just going to explode and you're going to forget stuff and it's not going to go well. Final thing that will aid your productivity is environment. Having a comfortable environment that you want to work in is so key. You've got stuff around you that's going to make you the comfiest possible and in the best possible mindset. Going back to that mindset thing, mindset is the most important thing. I spoke about mindset when I was speaking about relationships and your mental state. The minute you're in a bad mental state, you don't want to work. It really is the case. Like the minute you're in a bad environment and therefore your mental state is bad, you don't want to do anything, and anything that you do, it renders pointless because it's not going to go in. It's like an equation, right? Habits plus the way they intertwine equals productivity. So the bigger your habits are, better that they intertwine, the greater your productivity is going to be. It's so easy, and I know it's so easy to fall into bad habits and negative habits and habits that don't serve you. It's so easy and it's so hard to come back out of them because they feel easy. So create a system for yourself and create those habits and stick to them.
According to this psychology website, habits are actions that are triggered automatically in response to contextual cues that have been associated with their performance. And it also states that they can take up to 66 days averagely to form.
Anna, typo, paper chase, W.H. Smith's. Get a planner, assign every single subject that you do a colour, a symbol, whatever is easiest for you. Write every single date in that planner that you have in that colour for that subject. Actively make sure you're going back and checking that planner and you will be fine. Break every single task down into doable chunks, revision, coursework, everything into those chunks. Write down and schedule a time that you're going to do every single one of those chunks. Write it in the colour, write it with the symbol. Make sure each chunk is done when you've said that it's going to get done. And make sure that all of those chunks are done and completed at least a day or two before the due dates. That means that you're not cramming at the last minute, you're not forcing yourself to pull an all-nighter. Those two things are the worst for your mental state. Going back again to the whole mental state thing, all-nighters and lack of sleep and cramming is the worst thing you can do for your mental state and will make you perform at your lowest level. Sixth form is relentless. Like, I really can't lie, it is relentless, but you can get through it so much more easily if you're kind to yourself and you break everything up small and just do it little and often rather than trying to do everything in one night. A whole essay in one night just doesn't turn out as good as it would if you did a little chunk every day for like 3 weeks. The final part of having the system is having rewards. There is no productivity without rewards. We as humans need positive reinforcement to get shit done.
This website actually outlines the psychology behind positive reinforcement and shows that it's actually a behavioural thing, in that we're much more likely to follow positive than negative behaviour in order to create new habits. And the psychologist who said this said that a person who's been punished is not less inclined to behave in a given way. At best, he learns how to avoid punishment.
Assign yourself something that makes you excited to get out of bed in the morning. And further on from that, something that you can reward yourself with at the end of being productive, writing some of your essay or revising a chunk of biology or whatever. Something that you can reward yourself at the end will also help you continue to be productive. Again, for your mental state, rewards and being kind to yourself on top of the productivity will amplify your productivity levels through the roof. Being rewarded makes being productive worth the struggle. Final takeaways from this video should be kind to yourself. Not everybody's productive all the time, and being kind to yourself and your mental state is the most important thing. Do the best that you can with what you have. If you're in a position where you're not feeling good, you're not going to be the same level as productive as you are if you're in a perfect mental state and you're feeling great and you're feeling happy. Just try your best, and that's all that matters. Always look after your mindset. I mentioned it so many times in this video. Find friends that don't bring drama into your life. I mentioned it before. It will help you so much. Small group of friends. I had one and they were angels. I cannot thank them enough for how much they helped me during sixth form. And I know they're watching this, so kisses to you all. Don't hyperfixate on the need to be in a relationship. A lot of people might be getting into relationships around you, and if you want to be in one, that's okay, but don't hyperfixate on it and don't spend all your time worrying about relationships, because there are way more important things, I promise you. Use your free periods, for the love of God, and don't stress about what you're wearing. And that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. It's been kind of a chatty one. Thank you for watching. I hope you are doing great if you're going into sixth form. I hope you are succeeding, and feel free to message me on Instagram if you ever need any advice, any help. Bye! Mwah.